The Thunder back in the NBA Finals for the 5th time in franchise history, and we got to go way back. Their first appearance came back in 1978 when they were the Seattle Supersonics. Dennis Johnson and company lost to the Washington Bullets in 7 games. Hall of Famers Elvin Hayes and Wes Unseld proved a little too much to handle that year. But guess what? We had a rematch the very next year, and this time the Supersonics got the win in just 5 games. Hall of Famer Dennis Johnson led the way, averaging more than 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists in that series, and he was named Finals MVP. Seattle would get back to the NBA Finals in 1996, led by Gary Payton and Shawn Kemp. Unfortunately for them, though, they ran into Michael Jordan and the Bulls, part of that second part of their three-peat. Chicago won the series in 6 games. Jordan had more than 27 per night. Then in 2012 came the franchise's only appearance in the finals since moving to OKC. Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, they came up short against LeBron and the Heatles in that series, losing in 5 games. LeBron won the first of his now 4 NBA titles.
Now we get to welcome Brian Windhorst to the show. Look, the Thunders, they're on to the NBA Finals. And if you look at this team and how it's come together, this is a culmination of years of work put in by Sam Presti, team building, so on and so forth. From your perspective, how did this all come together?
Well, look, I was here 12 years ago, 13 years ago, whenever it was, when they had their last team that they thought was a couldn't miss. And then Durant got hurt, and then Russell got hurt, and then Harden got traded, and it fell apart. And so I was also here when they were rebuilding 3-4 years ago, and they were a 20-win team. So this has been a big process. I know that generally in Oklahoma City they've had great results, but they realized that they had to go from scratch and build this in such a way that it was sustainable. That's a dream. It's not necessarily reality yet, but they've really done this the right way. They have 3 stars. You know, this team wasn't really respected within the league this year. Everybody respected Shea. Nobody had any questions about him as a superstar, but people question about whether the other supporting players, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, some of the supporting players, were good enough to really get them here in this, meat grinder of a Western Conference. Well, listen, those questions have been answered. They've got a great team. They've got a team that has now won 80 games out of 98. I'll say that again. They're 80-18 this year. They're going to have home court next week starting in the finals. They've never been closer. They obviously have learned, and they've got some scars to remember that by.
So let's take a look at the other team. Obviously, the Timberwolves have time to go home now and think about a few things, but they also have some tough decisions in front of them. What does their offseason look like?
I mean, I just left talking to Mike Conley and Ant Edwards, and it's 2 totally different ends of the spectrum. Ant is saying that he's excited because, yes, they've lost in the conference finals 2 years in a row, but he's 23 years old. And he's excited about how much he can get better, and he promised to have a great summer. But then you see the nearly 40-year-old Mike Conley, who knows that nothing is promised. And so I don't know if this roster is going to be back together. They have 3 key free agents, Julius Randle, Naz Reid, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I'd be surprised if they could keep all of them together, but they have taken some steps to probably be able to keep 2 of the 3. I would assume they would prioritize Randle and Reid. But this was another near miss for the Wolves, and they're looking at a Western Conference that's only getting tougher.
NBA